With the White Sox holding the 4th overall pick in next week's MLB draft, we got an in-depth look inside the White Sox thought process from White Sox scouting director Nick Hostetler. Chuck Garfien and Ryan McGuffey spoke with Hostetler about some of the top talent in the draft: Brady Singer, Nick Madrigal, etc., the challenge of picking 4th, the accuracy of mock drafts, Hostetler's hectic travel schedule, his relationship with colleague Chris Getz, the success of players from last year's draft like Gavin Sheets, Luis Gonzalez and Laz Rivera, and much more. Listen to the full episode at this link or in the embedded player below. If Carlos Rodon's results in his minor league rehab starts are any indication, then he could provide the White Sox starting rotation with a huge lift when he finally returns to a major league mound. Rodon made his 3rd rehab start Tuesday while in the final stages of his return from shoulder surgery last fall, and he was terrific, striking out 8 in 5 shutout innings with AAA Charlotte. He allowed 3 hits and walked 2 batters. And he did all that just 5 days after getting hit in the head with a line drive. Scary play for Carlos Rodon, who appeared to somehow be okay after https://t.co/vvbdcbipa. White Sox Talk at NBCS. White Sox, May 25, 2018. Rodon has racked up some pretty impressive numbers in his 3 rehab outings. He's got 20 strikeouts and has allowed only 1 run on 7 hits in 12.2 innings of work. Rodon will be a big-time addition to a rapidly thinning White Sox starting rotation that long ago lost Miguel Gonzalez to injury. He's on the 60-day disabled list, and saw Carson Fulmer demoted to AAA with an ERA above 8.00. With Lucas Giolito struggling on a fairly regular basis, he's got the highest ERA among qualified starting pitchers in the big leagues. Only one pitcher, Reynaldo Lopez, has been a bright spot for the future on this starting staff in this rebuilding season. But Rodon, the No. 3 pick in the 2014 draft, figures to have as good a chance as any of the large number of young White Sox pitchers throughout the organization of becoming one of the team's frontline starters of the future. If he can put his health issues behind him, this will be the 2nd straight season in which he's waited until June to make his first start of the campaign. He could improve upon the flashes of brilliance he's shown in the past. Last season, he had a tremendous stretch following a double-digit strikeout performance against the Cubs in which he posted a 2.25 ERA over 5 starts in July and August. Rodon has to answer those health questions, and that starts with his return. Coming soon to a South Side near you. It was going to be pretty difficult for Tuesday's outing to go worse for Lucas Giolito than his start last Thursday did. That was perhaps his worst turn in a White Sox uniform last week, when he recorded only 4 outs and gave up 7 runs to the Baltimore Orioles. He gave up 6 hits, 3 walks and a couple home runs. And so, yeah, Tuesday's effort looked much better by comparison. But Giolito's start against the Cleveland Indians didn't do much to help his season numbers, nor did it do much to change the minds of White Sox fans and observers who think Giolito should be given the Carson Fulmer treatment and take some time to figure things out at AAA Charlotte. Giolito allowed 5 runs in his 6 innings Tuesday night in Ohio. He gave up 9 hits and walked nobody, striking out a trio of Indians hitters. For the first time as a big leaguer, Giolito gave up 5 runs in back-to-back starts. He allowed 2 more first-inning runs to sky his first-inning ERA to 11.45. Add a 3rd run surrendered in the 3rd, and his ERA in the first 3 innings this season is 9.79. With this being Giolito's last start of the month, 3 of his 6 May outings featured multiple home runs allowed. Giolito's season ERA stayed at 7.53, exactly what it was when he began his start. And that brings us back to last week, when manager Rick Renteria was asked what makes Giolito's situation different from Fulmer's. Fulmer got sent down to AAA after allowing 8 runs against the Texas Rangers a couple weeks ago. His ERA shot up to 8.07, earning him time to figure things out in Charlotte. Renteria said the two pitchers are totally different, and he cited Giolito's ability to make it through a significant number of innings after running into early trouble. And certainly Renteria is right there. Giolito has been able to do that, most notably against the Cubs, a start in which he walked 7 hitters but pitched 5.2 innings and got the win. He did something similar against the Indians. That could be considered a positive from Tuesday night. The fact that Giolito didn't walk anyone is definitely a positive for a guy who started the day as the American League's walks leader. The season was always going to be about growing pains and watching the sometimes painful process of player development in real time at the major league level. Working in Giolito's favor, of course, is the team's status as a last-place, non-contender in a rebuilding season. Even if the results continue to not be pretty, if there are valuable experiences to be had at the big league level, something Renteria talks about often, that's more important than winning games in this developmental campaign. But the bottom line is that Giolito again gave up a bunch of runs in a game the White Sox lost. Until he doesn't on a consistent basis, the calls for his temporary demotion likely won't be going anywhere.